Something chaotic about me is that I think that London is the perfect weekend trip for someone who lives 8 hours away. But all I need is one day to do all of the things that I enjoy in London. And this trip was a little different because we actually had an extra day. So we decided to do a day trip to York. But in London, we just walked around. We were staying in the Soho area. So there were a lot of shopping and cute places. It was also like Chinese New Year, so all of the beautiful decorations. But that first day, we went to the British Museum. My hack for getting the most out of the weekend and fighting the jet lag is that you book something immediately after the flight. That way, you are forced to stay awake and it helps with your little rhythm and making sure that you sleep during the right hours. Now, because we had technically a 5 day trip with the flight, we went ahead and took our time that first day and only went to the museum, then explored the area around us and picked up some cute desserts. The next day is where we had a jam packed London itinerary of all of the things I usually do. We went to Leadenhall Market, which is this beautiful little outdoor walking space. And then we went to Sky Garden and just got these beautiful views from above, and then also enjoyed all the plants and the seating area up there. Now, the one nice thing about London, it is warm compared to where I'm from. So we were walking everywhere. We walked on the bridges. We then walked to Borough Market, which is my absolute favorite place. This is my happy place because I can get all of the exotic fruits I have ever wanted and dreamed of. Main attraction and kind of the reason why I always go back to London. It's literally to just walk through here, eat some beautiful desserts, and try out some new fruits. The aim of the game of this trip was to grab as many granadillas as I physically could eat during the week, and that's what I did. I grabbed a ton of granadillas, some new fruits, and then we headed out. We ended up just strolling around London and going to random places, and then we went to the very touristy things, so the London Eye, Birdcage Walk, Big Ben, the square, and a bunch of like other things in the area. These are like the more historical buildings or like the ones that you see in movies for us Americans who aren't used to London. What am I catching on camera? All of these are relatively close, so you can like enjoy each one within like a good hour or two. And while you walk through the park, you can see all of these little guys. I could tickle their chin. I kind of low key wanna. These guys are cute too. Hi. And you also get to see my favorite part of Birdcage Walk, and that is random people feeding the parakeets and this ginormous fig tree that lives right next to the river. Oh, there are figs. You just can't reach them. My dream is to see the figs ripe on this tree and to be able to hypothetically pick one. I have to Google if it's actually illegal and what foraging laws are first, but one day. Figs. I've never seen it without leaves. I want the figs. If you jump and get them for me, I'll give you $100. I'm not gonna lie, there's no attraction more satisfying and rewarding than just sitting here and watching people feed the parakeets and the birds because they are such happy animals and I sometimes want to be like them. Like, who doesn't want to just be handheld and fed and not need to worry about anything else in their lives? But we then made our way towards the palace, which is again within walking distance. Again, these are all so close to each other, which is why it's so easy to do. After that, we walked around a little bit more and called it a day. Now, everything up until now of this trip can be done in one day for me, but I decided to pick a random city to explore. Well, not so random. I found out they were known for chocolate, and I was like, yep, this is absolutely the city to explore. It's all under construction. Wow, perfectly timed. There was a lot of construction in York, and it definitely made walking a little annoying, but honestly, not the worst thing in the world. I deal with more in my hometown. York is filled with things to do. Honestly, I need more days to explore York than I did London. But we started off with these gardens, which were not that great because it was January. But we then headed our way into the city. We went to the cathedral, which is stunning. I love tall ceilings and stained glass. And this building was filled with that and just filled with really cool stone, but also wooden architecture. I just fell in love with it. I also fell in love with these streets. Look at how cute they are. They're like the typical UK street. Now, with York, you can get this York pass that lets you go to a bunch of exhibits. So we saw this like Greek Roman place, and then we also just went to as many things as we could within the day. So we went to this tower, or I would say an old-fashioned gym.
Stairs. Stairs. These are not even, my foot doesn't even fit on a step.
And all of that working out led to pretty mediocre but interesting views. I don't know why I was expecting more of a small city, but it's okay. Now, the most important part of the trip, the chocolate tour. We went through this place. They didn't let us film in there, so I only took photos, which were allowed, but they gave us a ton of chocolate, and it was just so fun and interesting to find out that Kit Kat is from the UK. Next up, a museum.
Look it to your husband. If only that fire was real, I'm freezing. I'm gonna tell your mama you shook a man's hand. Surya, the desks were like that, and they would come and check your fingernails. If they were too long, they would slap you with a ruler. Found you. We saw an arrow pointing this way, and now where are we going? We're going somewhere. Do we take the stairs or the door? This is more my style.
Pretty sure this was tailored more for kids, but I'm a child at heart, so it was fun regardless. And then we ended the day by taking the city walls back to the station.
Can you imagine taking the city walls to work?
And after that, all that was left was the flight home.